Hi everyone! As I said in the introductory video on Unit 3 for Math, in this unit we're going to be looking at and working with different types of information or data sets. And in this video we'll also be looking at a data set. Okay? But before I show you the data set that I'd like to use and talk about in this video, I would like to draw you a scenario. Okay. Well, Mr. Yu is a big fan of basketball, if you didn't know. Okay. So, Mr. Yu was wondering. Okay, I wonder how many shots from the free throw line would I be able to make? Okay, out of 10 shots. Alright, so that was the question I had in mind. Okay, I was wondering. So what I did is I went to the gym and I got a basketball and I shot, 10 free throws from the free throw line. And I kept a record of how many shots actually went in. Okay, and Mr. Yu did that 5 times. So basically I took 5 sets of 10 shots from the free throw line and kept a record of how many shots went in for each set. Okay, so that's the scenario I'm just kind of drawing right here. Now I'm gonna change the screen, and what you see here are the results of the 5 trials I went through. Okay, shooting 10 shots from the free throw line. And the results are shown in 2 different ways. Okay. One way is this here. Okay, this highlighted thing here, shows us the result of how many free throws were made out of 10 out of the 5 trials I went through. Now, do you guys know what this highlighted thing here is called? I'll give you a hint. I can think of 2 names that people might call this thing by. Well, some people might use the word chart. Okay, some people might call this thing here, this highlighted thing here, a chart. I actually don't use the word chart. I use the other name, which is table. Okay, other people call this thing here a table. And this table here shows, again, right, how many shots out of 10 went in for each of the 5 sets I tried. So for the first trial, I made 8 out of the 10 shots. Second trial here, if I look at this, it tells me that I made 7. Okay, third time, 8. 4th, 9, and 5th, 8 out of 10 shots. And also, if you look here, it also tells us in total how many baskets or shots were made. So obviously it says 40. So in total, I made 40 shots from the free throw line. Okay, and if you look here, okay, the information itself is actually the information shown here is actually exactly the same as the information shown in the table, okay? But obviously it's shown in a different form, and in this case it's shown in the form of a bar graph, right? So we've got 1 bar for first trial, second, third, fourth, and fifth, okay? And if we actually count, how many shots were made, okay, it'll tell us, right, how many shots were made for each trial. Okay, now, if you kind of, think back, okay, what I said about, maybe a minute and a half ago or 2 minutes ago, well, the original question I had in mind, the thing I was wondering originally was, well, how many shots will I be able to make out of 10 from the free throw line, right? Well, looking at this result here, whether it's the result shown in the form of a table or this bar graph, well, it tells me that, well, sometimes I made 8, right? I made 8. And sometimes I made 7. And sometimes I made 9. And, you know, if I really think about it, this result here that we're looking at isn't really that helpful. Because, again, my original question was, how many shots will I be able to make out of 10 from the free throw line? And right here, it's kind of giving me 3 different numbers. It's 8, 7, or 9, right? I'm getting 3 numbers, and, you know, and now I'm confused, like, which one do I really use? You know, is it okay if I say I make 8 out of 10, or, you know, but then, you know, it's kind of wrong because sometimes I made 7, sometimes I've made 9, so I'm a little confused. I've got a bit of a problem here, right? Well, how can I solve this problem? You know, like, if only there is a way for me to somehow get or end up with one number, right? One number which kind of represents this entire data set, then maybe I can just say that number is the number of baskets I basically make or made, okay, out of 10 from the free throw line. And you know what, guys? There's actually a way for me to find out or figure out that one number. Okay. Now, before I talk about how to find it, I just want to talk a little bit about that one number. There's a special name for that one number, and it's called the mean. Okay? So, this highlighted part, mean. Mean is that one number I'm talking about. And, you know, the definition of mean is one number which generally represents the original data set or set of information. So again, it's one number that represents, in general, the original set of data, okay, or set of information. And that's exactly, right, the kind of number I'm kind of wanting right now, right? So I can just say that is the number of shots or baskets that I make or made out of 10 from the free throw line. Now, well, how do I figure out what that number is? How do I find the mean number of this data set here? Well, in order for me to find that number, identify that number, I gotta kind of think about this question here. And that question is, well, if the total stayed the same, but the same amount or number was shown in the data set, what would that number, or I guess amount, be? Okay. Now, if you need to pause here and think a little bit about this question, please do, because this question is really, really, really important for us to think about, to identify or figure out what the mean number is. Okay? So I'll read the question one more time. If the total stayed the same, but the same amount or number was shown in the data set, what would that number be? Okay. So let's look at maybe the table here, because it actually tells us what the total was. Well, the total number of shots made from the free throw line was 40. So we're gonna assume, okay, we're imagining that the total is gonna be the same. Okay? So we're not gonna change this total. So total is 40. But, okay, while keeping the total the same, if the same amount of baskets, okay, or shots were made out of 10 from the free throw line, well, how many shots would I have made in that situation? Okay. So right now, first trial was 8, 7, second trial was 7, then 8, 9, and 8, okay? But again, now we're imagining that each trial, the same number of shots went in, and the total was 40. Well, how do I figure that out? Well, there's two ways that I can think of to solve this problem. One, if we look at this bar graph, okay, what I'm seeing is this part here for the fourth trial bar graph, this very top part here, okay, that looks like, you know, it's a little bit, this is, you know, a little higher. This part is higher, the bar is higher than, you know, these three bars. And if you look at this bar here, it's, you know, this much lower than these three bars. So if I take away that part, whoops, one more time, if I take away that part, okay, I just took away, sorry, I'll do that again. If I take away that part and stick it there, okay, and stick it there, look what happens to all the bars. Okay, the height is the same for each of the 5 bars, right? Which means that the same amount of baskets were made, right? For each trial. But did the total change? Okay, here first try, if we look at this bar graph now, okay, I've got 8, and second trial 8, third 8, fourth 8, fifth 8. Well, what's 5 times 8? That's 40. The total hasn't changed. So then, by looking at this bar graph now, okay, it looks like the mean number of shots, okay, that Mr. Yu made from the free throw line out of 10 shots is 4 shots. Is 8 shots, right? 8 shots. Okay. Well, another way to come to this number 8 is, okay, the total is 40, right? Okay, the total is 40. I might just type down here 40, and I might use maybe black. Okay, so 40, and then, right, and then we're imagining that for each trial, okay, the same number of shots were made. So then why don't I do 40 divided by how many trials? 5, right? 40 divided by 5, okay, because 40 shots divided equally into five trials, and that's going to give me 8, right? 40 divided by 5 is 8. So then this is another way that I can come to the number 8. Okay, I can reach this answer 8. Okay, and then again, I guess the point I'm trying to make here is, what does this 8 mean? Well, that is the mean number of baskets that Mr. Yu made from the free throw line out of 10 shots. Okay, so 8, so if I again go back to the definition of mean, 8 is that one number which generally represents the original data set or set of information. So now maybe I can say, well, you know, 8 is kind of, you know, it's roughly, it's about that number of shots that Mr. Yu made from the free throw line out of 10 shots. Okay, so to answer my original question, well, how many shots can Mr. Yu make out of 10 from the free throw line? Well, I can use the mean number, which is 8, to answer that question. So my answer would be, well, you know, basically 8 shots. Basically 8 shots is the number of baskets Mr. Yu can make from the free throw line out of 10. Okay, so I guess the point I was trying to make here is that, you know, the mean number of a data set can help us make some sort of a conclusion about a situation in which we're using data sets. Okay, and you know, it helps us understand datas. All right? Thank you for listening.